So what drives value to you as a buyer? The ability to have proprietary deal flow is going to be valuable to you as a buyer, where you're not competing against multiple other buyers. Additionally, the fact that if you're looking at 30 to 40 potential targets and you have selection, you can really use that selection to say, you know, if I get this one at this price, that's great. If not, I'll move on to the next one. So having multiple target options helps you in your process of picking the best opportunities and then being able to acquire those fairly. It's really important that you have a motivated seller and not a tire kicker. What else drives buyer value is your ability to pay cash and close quickly. So to the extent that you're not asking them for 60 or 70 or 50% of the purchase price in seller financing, but you're going to come to the table with cash, that's valuable. What drives buyer value? Your ability to develop rapport with the seller. In the end, it really is going to be two people that get together to affect this transaction, you and the seller. And if you can generate great rapport, then that's going to really help deliver some additional buyer value to you. Your reputation, we see it all the time. If we're talking to somebody and want to know who our buy-side client is, and we maybe they've had dealings with somebody in the past and they just don't like the reputation of that particular buyer, they want to talk to them. So if you have a great reputation, that also helps in allowing you to get a good price. I'm going to give you an example later on in the webinar about a client who's buying a company and they're getting a tremendous deal from it because he has such a good reputation with that seller. You want to make sure that you understand sellers' financial needs, their non-financial needs. You know, is it important that they stay on for a period of time after the closing? Do they want to have their kids involved? Do they need to have 3 or 4 key managers participate in ownership on the next go-round? Those are important to help you to drive value. If you will give in to some of those financial or non-financial needs, that's good. If you're looking at a seller that has a highly technical business and there's very few options for them from which to go ahead and sell their business, that is also good. And then lastly, just financial performance. Typically, if you're looking at companies that are performing poorly, then you typically have more opportunity to get good value as a buyer. Know that you pay for value drivers, and we're big advocates. If you got a really good business, just be fair with that seller and don't get greedy there. Things that drive value: recurring revenue, strong free cash flow, relatively low CapEx, meaning capital expenses annually to perform the business functions. They've got consistent year-over-year growth, no customer concentration, strong management team in place, excellent gross and net margins that are expanding, high barriers to entry to get into their business, a sustainable competitive advantage or proprietary and patented products, and you've got your team in place where it's not dependent on you, and the financial statements are very clean, very audited, and they don't have a lot of, gray area stuff in them. You pay less when there are a lot of value dingers. So typically customer concentration, once you're over 10 or 15%, it creates pause and concern for the buyer. Understand that. If you've got 3 to 5 years before you're looking at selling your business, really look at acquisition to diversify some of your customer concentration. Supplier concentration is another one that could be value dingers, where the supplier has so much purchasing power they can raise their prices and impact your margins. Businesses that have high capital expense requirements in them, or deferred maintenance or deferred CapEx, the new guy needs to come in and fix that. If the business is dependent on you, real big. Even if you're in great health, you never know. We all never know and see surprises happen. So you want to make sure that if you've got 3 to 5 years, you're really working at divesting some of the responsibilities that you have in your company. We see project-oriented businesses. I think of those like general contractors or lots of big bid-related work, and it's not recurring in nature. Businesses that require higher levels of working capital That could be because it's very seasonal and you need to keep a lot of resources tied on, or just needs a lot of working capital based on payment terms. Lumpy financials, cyclical businesses. If you need bonding, that's going to tie up working capital. Weak management team. And then if you don't have owned or proprietary products, or if you're in the healthcare space where you have products or services that have high reimbursement risk, that's another big value dinger at this time.